Hello everybody, welcome back to my Game Maker tutorial for a simple space shooter. This is the second episode. In the last episode I covered basic movement and shooting. In this episode I'll be covering an asteroid spawner system to spawn asteroids into the game so your ship can avoid those. And I will also be covering a score and lives system. With that being said, let's go ahead and get started. The first thing you want to do is draw your asteroid, or just import it from the resource pack I have available on the Game Maker resource page. There will be a link in the description. And then you want to set that up as an object as well. And then we also need one more object. We need a spawner that'll spawn the asteroids into the game. So spawner. And we're not going to assign that any sprites because it does not need any. So in this spawner, let's go ahead to add event and hit create. We're going to distinguish some variables. So the first thing we need is an alarm. So alarm equals the room speed, just like you've seen in other alarms that we've done. And then I'm going to need a variable to check whether a position is being used twice when my asteroids are being created. That way, if it is, it'll go through a while loop till it's a position that is not overlapping itself, and that'll make it to where the asteroids don't overlap with each other, and it looks a whole lot better. So I'm going to use old rand, which stands for old random. I'm going to set that equal to 0, and then I'm going to also set up a variable that they can compare with each other, which is just random, but I'm spelling it rand, and I'm going to set that also equal to 0. Now I need score, and I'm going to abbreviate it, and I need lives, and I'm also going to abbreviate it. And then that's it for the variables, but I do want to set up a font. So I'm going to do draw set font, and I'm going to pass in font. And the reason I'm passing in font is because I already have it created over here in my fonts. If you don't know how to create a font, just go ahead and name it font, and then select your font, and then set it down to size 10, because anything over 10 kind of looks bad displayed on the screen in this game because we're zoomed in so closely. And that is it for the create event. So let's go ahead and set up the step event. So let's go to step. And first thing we want to do is we're going to make our alarm increment down. So alarm equals itself, and I want it to go down pretty fast. So I'm going to use -4, and that way it'll create the asteroids not so spaced out apart from each other. Then I'm going to check something. I'm going to say if the alarm equals 0 or check 0. So if it double equals for 0, so if alarm check 0, then using curly brackets, then we're going to say that rand, that variable we set up, equals random range. And this is a Game Maker function, and we're going to put in two values. We're going to put in the first value as 0, which is the starting point in our room is 0, and it goes to 384. So, and then 384, and that's it for this little line here. But we need more. We're going to say while rand is less than or equal to the old rand. Remember, these variables we set up because we're using them as comparisons. And rand is greater than and equal to old rand. Then, so more curly brackets. Then we are going to, oh, actually, you know what? These need values. So it's not just checking like the origin. So we're going to do on this one plus 100 and on this one minus 100, and that'll give us some spacing in between where the asteroids are created. So with that, we're going to go into this while loop, and I'm going to say rand equals random range again, and the same value 0, 384, and this is checking to see if we're overlapping our asteroids, and if we are, then while we are overlapped, we're going to keep searching for random values, and then it does return a random value that's not overlapping, and it'll create the asteroid. So if this, once we exit this while loop, we're going to want to say that the alarm, we're going to reset the alarm equals the room speed, and then we're going to want to create an asteroid. So instance, let's create. I'm going to do x plus rand. So the random value we get, we are going to make the x value of the asteroid be created there. So, and then y, and then the asteroid itself. And then that will create the asteroids. We also want to set old rand equal to the rand. So old rand equals rand. And I believe that's it, or actually no, we need one more. So outside of these curly brackets here, we want to make the score go up slowly. So the score is equal to itself plus, I'm going to use a small value so it goes up slowly, 0.0 or 0.1. And for some reason I have an error code, or this thing here, a little error symbol. So let me see what I did wrong. I forgot my depth here. So I'm going to want to put in a depth, and I'm going to use 1 so that it's behind everything. And now that goes away, and this will run properly. So I'm going to drag this into my room. And it needs to go up here in the top corner. It can't go anywhere else because it's actually, I believe, going to create the asteroids from this point to this point, so it needs to go up here so it creates like that. And now I need the asteroid to do some stuff. I want it to have kind of random spinning. So once the asteroid is created, I'm going to have it get that random spinning. So rand equals random range, and then 2 values, and I'm going to choose -1 and 1. So anything between -1 and 1, I'm going to add into an image angle. So this thing will spin either backwards or forwards, and you'll see what I mean. So I'm going to go into a step event to do that. I'm going to say that the image angle equals itself plus that random value that we got here at the create event. But we also want our asteroid to move down. So I'm going to say that the y coordinate equals itself plus, because we're going down, because remember negative's going up and positive is going down, and then plus 3. And that might be a little slow, but I'm not too sure. So I'm going to try that, and then if it's too slow, we'll speed it up. So let's see what this looks like so far. And there we go. That's kind of fast, but I like it. And the asteroids are not overlapping with each other. You can still go off and on screen. You can shoot. The asteroids don't explode yet when you hit them, but I'm going to be covering that in a different episode. Right now, let's go ahead and focus on displaying the score and the lives up here. And of course, you can't die yet. We'll also do that in another tutorial. But we have our asteroids being created. So let's go ahead and get into the score and lives. So back in the spawner object here, we want to draw something. So we're going to add event. We're going to go to draw, and then we are going to go ahead and draw a font. And I forgot the function, so I'm just going to look through here. It might be draw font or draw set. Or no, draw text. Yeah, there we go. We're going to do draw text. And I'm going to do x plus 5 so that it's not right flush up against the corner. So we have a little gap between the border of the game and the actual text. So now the y, again, I'm going to do y plus 5 because I want it to be down a little bit from the border of the game. And then I'm going to do a string here. So to do a string, you use these quotations. I'm going to say score, spelled correctly, and then close quotations. And now I want to say plus the string, and I have to actually state that this is a string. the string of the value of our score variable. And if we set it up like that, that'll display our score up on the screen. And I'll show you. And there it is, and it's going up because we have it incrementing up in the step event. And now let's go ahead and put our lives right underneath here. So that's pretty simple to do. We're just going to copy and paste this and then change some stuff around. I'm going to leave the x value the same, and I'm going to make this y value 20 just to get it spaced and moved down. I've been playing with values and I found that 20 works really good. And then I'm going to take the string of the lives variable. I forgot, I abbreviated it. And now we should have our lives displayed to the screen. And no, we have score displayed again. And the reason we have score displayed again is because it's written as score here. So lives, be sure to change that to lives. And you might have noticed our lives are set to 0, and the reason that is because when I set up the variable, I set lives to 0, and I'm actually going to change that to 3. And now when we run it, you'll see that everything is functioning correctly. Of course, like I said earlier, you can still go through the asteroids. You don't really have any threats yet, and the bullets don't destroy them. But that's the end of this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one.